What are the 6 things if a person does, he becomes non-Muslim? Number 1, someone who curses at Allah or his messenger. And this is an important one. A lady came to see me the other day and she said her husband, every time he gets mad, he curses at Allah and the messenger. That actually, according to many scholars, their marriage is over because she cannot be married to a non-Muslim. So a person who curses at Allah out loud just like that, or the messenger, then they are out of Islam. And this person has to take shahada again, and the marriage has to be done again between those two. Unfortunately, this is very common in many Muslim countries when the man gets mad and he starts cursing at Allah. So that's a big time thing. You cannot curse at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So number 1, to curse at Allah and his messenger, or to make fun, the same thing, to make fun of Allah. Like this person who said, if Allah comes down and he tells me to do this, I will not do it. That's making fun of Allah. He's not a Muslim anymore. These things are not something you mess with. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger is not something you should mess with. So anybody who curses at Allah and his messenger or makes fun of them, that's not a Muslim anymore. Because see, when you say ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, you are going against this shahada when you're cursing at Allah and his messenger or you're making fun of them. That's number 1. Number 2, making prostrations, the prostrations of worship to anyone other than Allah. Now, we said in the past, people will make sujood, and that was the sujood of glorification only. Like the brothers of Yusuf made sujood to him, the angels made sujood to Adam. That was not worship, just a way of glorifying him. Now, at our time, sujood is not allowed except to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If somebody goes and he does sujood to a cow, or he does sujood to a statue, or he does sujood to anything other than Allah, then that is, of course, knowing what he's doing. Knowing what he's doing. Number 3, invoking, making du'a to anyone other than Allah. And du'a does not mean request. Like I can come say, brother so-and-so, can you help me? That's not du'a. Du'a, when like you raise your hands and you ask for help, like for example, those who say, Ya Ali, or Ya Hussein. So you call anyone other than Allah, making actual du'a, thinking that he benefits you or harms you, that takes you out of Islam. And again, you can apply these rules to those sects. Number 4, to say this law is better than Allah's law. The man-made law is better than Allah says, وَمَنْ يَحْكُمْ بِغَيْرِ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ ظَالِمُونَ and kafirun in the end. So it's in the Quran. You can be living in a country which does not apply the Sharia law, which is fine, like here. But you cannot say this law is better than Allah's law. And there are so many Muslims, unfortunately, without knowing. They say the Sharia law is outdated. It's for the old times. It doesn't work at our time. We need man-made laws now. That is wrong. Allah's law is the best, works for every time and every place. So saying that somebody's law or man-made is better than Allah's law, then that takes a person out of Islam. That's number 4. Number 5, who just said it, calling a Muslim a kafir. If you call a Muslim a kafir, then, and he is not a kafir, then you become a kafir. So that's number 5. So we are studying these rules, and we apply all these 6 rules. There is still one more. And you see that this person, he may be a bad person, maybe he did terrible things, but none of these apply to that person, and then you still call him kafir, then you become a kafir. So takfir, making someone who's not a kafir into a kafir, will make that person who called him a kafir the real kafir. So that's number 5. Number 6, and this is very important, number 6, playing with the halal and haram, changing the rules. Give you an example. Somebody drinks alcohol. Muslim drinks alcohol. Is he a kafir?
No.
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 He's not a kafir unless he says alcohol is halal.
Mhm.
Now you are defying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like Iblis did. So disobeying Allah does not take you out of Islam, but challenging Allah, His rule does. He's doing something haram, major sin, that does not take him out of Islam. But saying this is halal, or saying, for example, pork is halal, I heard this before, because in the past they used not to clean it very well, and now they clean it better, and now at our time it became halal. That's ridiculous. That takes the person out of Islam. You cannot turn, and by the way, not only turning the haram into halal, but the other way around too. You turn the halal into haram. That is, you cannot change the rules. You cannot play with the, you can say beef is haram, for example. No, it's not. You cannot change that rule. If you say, I don't want to eat it, I am vegetarian, it's fine. But do not make it haram. Or don't slaughter the cow. You're changing the rules of Allah. So changing the rules from halal to haram or haram to halal. So these are the 6 things. Whoever does them is out of Islam. And that person needs to take shahada again and need to be taught that do not say these things, because if you die without taking shahada again, you die as a non-Muslim. And if Muslims hear that person saying these things or doing these things, we don't pray janazah for them even.